John Stockwell was in the CIA and he had operations going in Africa. And he once said that somebody he was working with as a station chief was an ugly little troll. And this guy was a real firecracker when it came to picking up women. He said to Stockwell, you may think that women want a handsome, dashing guy, but what they really want is an ogre like me. And John Stockwell said to his amazement, the man was right. I don't want to do much more than draw a direct parallel between that story and the Black Panthers' claim to the Freedom Flotilla was their lunch program, which has been seconded by Palestinian resistance sympathizers. I knew from the very beginning of the protest movement against what's happening in Gaza that my humanism and deafness and condition as a victim of Yoko Ono and a very severely injured victim of the Ripper Hatters in Seattle. They call themselves variously a union, a Green Party, wobbly wannabes, and so on. Real change. And the people around the Asian women in the bully pulpit of elected to political office. I was going to be the odd man out eventually, no matter how much I sympathize with the children of Gaza, no matter how regular my contributions and efforts would be, no matter how hard I worked to record what was happening and object to the false explanations, that eventually I would be bullied into a corner and hunted by the people I was defending, because that's how it always works. That's how it worked with the gay community. I remember going to city council and saying that I grew up in the Jewish Holocaust survivor community, and they had given me the book That Was Then, This Is Now to read, which is a telltale title. And the moral of the book was I just wanted to be sure that I hated you. I said that Nosferatu, who just wants to demonstrate America's inability to stand up for the weak and helpless. Well, it's clear that the inability to stand up for the weak and helpless is very universal. I mean, it's not just America, it's the Seattle, it's the Black Panther Party, it's these Palestinian resistance groups. Most of the women who've been victimized, seen their children die, were on the side of David Jeffen and the gay community on the level of supporting Yoko Ono and seeing John Lennon's folk hero of the story that was water under the bridge by the time it built momentum for the attack of Gaza. Now, I've been consistent through all that. I represented the press in an attempt to get the truth and warning about the gays to the about the gay risk factor, the danger to gay society being posed by Reagan. And I was backstabbed. They went the road of Texas queers and Maduri Goto in defense of Reagan at the insistence of Ringo Starr, David Jeffen, George Takei, Nancy Reagan, and so on. So that's not going to change with the story of Palestine. No matter how I mourn, no matter how much I love their poetry, no matter how much I cheer them in the recovery and their efforts to get redress, they will inevitably backstab me. The same thing holds true for the Black Panther Party. I was committed to study of African Americans. I have no reluctance to contribute my knowledge of the American civil rights movement, but they backstab me. They're like that guy in the bar who says, "You think they want a dapper man? Well, they want a snarling little ugly like me." And if you look at the claim that Black Panthers were engaged in a food fight with the government that had neglected to feed children. The people who came up with the phrase food fight is the essential representation of the Union mystique in Seattle and Pittsburgh, was a Klansman named Casper who tortured me as a child. But, Black Panthers see my brother, and the macho Klansman, because they're like that snarling little pig in South Africa who says that the women just want an ugly like me. They don't want a dapper, handsome debonair. Ralph Proctor, Black Studies professor, claimed in class so vocally that the old woman interpreting me refused to come back and interpret the rest of the classes. The white women just wanted a big black African American prom in secret, and that was the problem of all the racial struggles. Okay, so there you have it. And they're going to prove it by getting Greta on board with the idea the Freedom Flotilla was the Black Panther lunch program. Let me tell you a little bit about the clucker who came up with the food fight refrain for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and who tortured me as a child. He locked me in a house from the inside with his gang, a Salk research lab labor party called Artec at a place called Leslie Park in Lawrenceville, Pennsylvania. Sorry, my heart's beating funny. So the Salk labor, these people were the ones who made me inhalant, use the inhalant's flow glow as a child. And they built the Salk research. The only place, the whole connectivity of the scene, but it's so ridiculous. I mean, I'll put it this way. By now, you know what these lopers did. And if you didn't, it's because you don't want to know. And censorship is pointless when people don't want to know. Better than censoring the press, which is overt, and you can see the smoke from burned books, is to just build a society where nobody wants to know anything. So in society that nobody wants to know anything, it doesn't matter that guerrilla theater was used to promote the destruction of public schools, to promote the destruction of school lunch programs, to promote the destruction of Gaza, the destruction of small, poor, but virtuous families, the destruction of poetry, freedom of association on campus, the graces of dating. It doesn't matter that all of those things were destroyed. What matters is that the Catholic extremists in the Polish and Italian communities have convinced the Black Panther Party that the icon of the white is a little Kiwi who used to get dragged through glass by Saul Brecker, much to the merriment of Thomas Gordon of Harvard, because that means the black man of Obama gets to make off with the presidency and Maduro Goto. That's what really gets with these idiots. So taking a boat that doesn't get to where it's going with humanitarian effort that doesn't reach the people who is intended for, after betraying them and leaving them in a situation of genocide, defeated and destroyed by your momentum on behalf of the killers, is the Black Panther lunch program. Maybe you have a point. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you do have a point.